mode to look something like this to something like this. And I want to show you to do that through org mode and how to mess around with org mode. So let's jump in. Hopefully this is big enough for you to see. I'm going to try to keep it this big. It may not make a lot of sense when it's this big, but this will work. Let's begin. This is org mode. I'm assuming you already have Spacemacs installed, and what I did is I stripped down my Spacemacs just to make this video, and I removed all of my different files. So all we're going to focus on this video is just the looks of things and to customize that so you can mess with it, okay? There's two main ways to get to the customizing of org mode faces. Faces are like the different fonts for the different settings. To do that, space twice. That's going to bring this up. Now, what's this on the bottom here? This is called Helm. And what Helm does, it allows you to see what kind of options you have available. In Spacemacs or in Emacs, vanilla Emacs, you don't get to see these options. If you're somebody who's very familiar with it, it doesn't matter to you. But for somebody who's learning, that's why I like Spacemacs. It shows you those things really nicely, and I really, really like that about it. So double space opens this up, and to get out of this you can either press escape or space and control G to do that. And hold on just one second. All right, we're back, and what I've done is just added the I've changed the size because I boosted up the text enough so hopefully you can see enough. But what I've done is changed to where I can show you which keys I'm using to move around with, and that may help you as you're learning through this. So like I said, space opens Helm, and then space again opens up your options. Now this might be a little bit distracting to see those things there, so I'll give it some time and so you can just kind of get a feel for how these things work. All right, let's begin to customize this. So number of ways to do this. To customize just about anything, double space. Now begin to type in customize, and then you'll see like my history there. It'll show you what stuff you've used, but customize dash or hyphen group, and that will show you customize group. When you hit that, it'll give you a bunch of options to mess with, and so you can customize most of your packages that you're using. So this one we want to type in org, and then that's going to show us a bunch of options, but we don't want to customize any of those necessarily. So another dash, type in faces, and that is going to open up to all of the different faces. So a face would be like a font style inside of it. So if you didn't like, for instance, let's scroll through here and find title. No, not or column title, but yeah, title. So title. So it comes into this, again, these are just simple colors, really basic looking colors. And they stand out, but they can kind of be a little aggressive on your eyes after a while. So I wouldn't suggest using these colors. But for example, you wanted to change your org title face, and actually in Spacemacs, which I use this all the time, if you hit FD really fast, it gets you out of the insert mode. So in Vim, you have an insert mode. So if you wanted to edit text, this is getting off topic here, but to edit text, to go back to here to our opening section, to edit text, instead of using FJ to move around, you hit I, and then you can enter it in text. And then if you wanted to get out of that, you either hit escape, or that'll get you out of it, or you can hit FD in quick succession like that. So you see that? So I'm in insert mode, get out of it, FD really fast to get out of it. And D twice to delete the whole line. That's another way to do that, which is nice. O opens up, and again, getting off topic here, but O opens up a new line underneath the one that you're using. And I use that quite a bit when I'm editing text. We'll jump into that in later videos, but for now, this is just some basic movements to move around in. So if you're ever really stuck, press the escape button like 3 times, and that'll hopefully get out of every single option that you're in. Now, I can go back to customize group this way and then retype in org faces, or to go back to the previous place you were at and hit space tab. Oh, never mind. It doesn't do that way. But okay, so customize group org faces. There we go. So let's, and I'm moving down with J's here. Let's say I want to customize this. Now I can either use my mouse and click this. Okay, maybe I can't. Sometimes when you're in insert mode, you can click it. And even then, never mind. So that's the hard part about Spacemacs, is that some things you're like, oh, that should work this way, but it doesn't. But I know at least I can hit enter and it'll open up and show you, oh, here's all the options for your space title thing. Now you can do this in hardline code in your space FED section, which we won't jump into that just yet here, but you can do that, which is really nice. So what you'll do is, if you wanted to, let's say this is too big, you can, a lot of this is intuitive here. So height would be a factor of 1.4 to your default height is how high this is. Underlined, you want to underline, you can, hit enter and hit on or off. That is really small because on my 4K monitor, I can still see it, but hopefully you can too. Style, I don't actually know. Line, wave, I don't know much. Oh, maybe that's the style of underline, maybe. And then the color, and it uses your standard HTML colors to change the colors. So if you have your own color scheme, you can add those in. Foreground is the actual color, and background is what's behind it. The color is the same as the regular background here, so that doesn't change it. And what is it inherited from? Means that it's using the options, or it's using what's ever said over in the bold. So if you want to go over to bold and then find what's that, whenever you change something in bold, it'll show up differently here. So there's a lot of connectivity to these things, which makes it easier and harder at the same time. But if you want to add more attributes, you hit show all attributes, and you can change the actual font. I don't know what Font Foundry does. You can change the width of the thing, you can change the weight, the slant. If it's strike through, a box around the text. I mean, there's several options you can mess with, but I don't like to mess with them all that much. So I keep those that way. And that's how you typically change everything here. And so all of these here you can change. These habits I don't really mess with very much. But org level, these are your headings. So, we were just looking at, and here's another fun tip. So I'm getting out of the insert mode. I'm hitting W or space W slash, and that opens up the same exact buffer, but in two different spots. And so I can change one of these without the other, or I can move other places without the other one here. So let's go back over to where we were at. So here's this here. So notice that org level 1 is what's this here. And all this is it's just, it's a plain text file, but it's rendering it in a certain way based on what characters you add. So if you add an asterisk sign space, it's going to look like level heading 1, a level 1 heading. And then you've got their different lines here, your different colors. And so you can change all that. And if you want to test things out, you can always, let's say I want it to be the same height. I don't like all that extra stuff, just be simple. You can hit set for current session, and it should just, oh wow, it's got real small there. So one of the things you have to recognize is always put in those zeros like that, or else it's really going to mess up. Yeah, so now it's a smaller size there, which is nice. I want to change the color. If you know what hex code you want to use, you can throw that in there, or your HTML code, or you can see a bunch of options of different colors. So let's say I just want to do it all simple. I'm just going to hit white. I can change that. You can save it here for current session, and if you restart Spacemacs, it'll not change it. And save for future sessions means it'll always stay this way. So I've just changed my heading to that color there. And then the same sort of options that we just looked at on title right there as well. All right, let's get out of there and move on. So let's change all these just to white, just for the sake of the video, and change this to 1.0 for the sake of the video. And you can work through these like this. And there's a quicker way to do this once you get more advanced, but I'll show you where that's at, hopefully at the end of this video, if I remember to show you. There you go. All right, cool. So might as well show you where all this is actually taking place. This is kind of a helper thing for people who want a more graphical interface like I do to when I'm ever messing with it. or so I can know my options. Or what you can do is to get into like the backside, your config file of Spacemacs, is that you hit space FED. Oops. To get out of insert mode, FD, space FED, and then we're here. Now, obviously, because this is a massive text, this is okay. Yeah, that'll work for now. So here's the top of it. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see this custom set faces, and you see the changes we've made. Instead of org level 1, it's now the foreground is white, and now the height is this color. You can change this as it's telling you can, but when you do it by hand, you got to be careful when you mess with it. So if you want to make quick changes like that, go right ahead. It may mess up on you though, so don't come crying to me when it's messing up on you. I always typically try to use this. Let's do, so all these are white. Fine, great. So now when we go back to this text here, we have the different changes. So there's the different changes. All right, now let's begin to change even some more things. So let's go to, scroll up here, and up at the top, you see this search bar. This search bar is really great because it'll show you just about anything you want to be looking for. So I want to change, let's say, the org bullets. Now I can change the face name or the org bullet list. Now when I open this up, you'll see it has these different characters. And let's just add a heading 4 here. Oops. I gotta go. There we go. Yeah, well, we'll keep the color just because you can change the color if you'd like to. But now you see all these different characters being used here. So maybe you don't like these colors or these different type of characters. You can use any kind of color you want, but I typically will delete them. And I think I can get away with just having a space and hit apply and save. There you go. So now I don't have any bullets there in any of these, which is nice. We're getting somewhere, aren't we? Now we got these different colors and these different styles. Let's move them. You may want to move the asterisk or the equal sign away from here. To do that again, what you'll do this time is instead of going customize group, I think the best way to go to do this is just go to org customize. Not customize group now, org customize. And then you'll have all these different crazy things to look at. But if you go into this group of appearance, it'll open up 2 different windows. Now you'll see it looks kind of goofy here. You have one window up here, or frame, I forget the exact right term, and one window down there. Now you can switch to these and stuff, but if you right click one of them like this, it'll just close it out, or hit WD when that one's active, or space WD, that'll close it out. So now we get to the org customize group stuff, or customize. This will help you remove those things. And actually, while we're here, why don't we open up that one we were looking to watch this change in real time, okay? So we're gonna move this way over here, but you'll still be able to see it. So emphasis A-list, open that up. And you'll notice here that this character makes it bold, and this character makes it italic, and this character makes it underlined. And you can change those. I wouldn't suggest changing those, but you can change those if you'd like, and strike through and all that stuff. So that's fun. Now, but the one you're probably really looking for is this guy right here, which is the org hidden. And you can look at these through in your own time and kind of read through some of these things. They're really helpful. Not hide keywords. I want to admit this one here. So emphasize markers. It's off, but when you turn it on, it'll remove these things here. So let's do toggle it. So you can click that or not. Hit enter. There we go. And then let's save this. So sometimes it opens up in this particular way. So you can do it all completely. So let's just do save for future edits, press 1, and it's on now. So now what we can do is hit space, Q, R, and again, we restart it. There's probably a quicker way to do this, but we're doing it because I know this works. And I'm doing it live, so that's helpful. Oh, hey, look at that. Now look, those things are gone. So anytime now you want to bold something, there you go. All right. Now, let's say, though, instead of making them these colors, you want to change these colors to make them look nicer this way. All right, let's do that. So org customize. Scroll down to appearance, and then it'll open up in the window like that. So right click that window to scroll it out. Now you can go down to this subgroup of org faces. When you're here, now you can begin to change anything you want to call bold or anything you want to call italic. So let's move and find these. So you can scroll through them like I'm doing right now, but one thing to do would be just like hit bold. So there's boldface. So let's say I wanted to change what boldface looks like. I can make it value bold. I can make it, let's just do ultra bold and save for future sessions. This font probably doesn't have an ultra bold, but let's just say for fun, show all attributes here, and I want to add a color to my bold. So I want to go to foreground, highlight that, choose a color, and let's say instead of just whatever color I'm using, let's make it a highlight kind of color. Let's just make it an intense looking yellow, right? That'll be good. So go over here, and you can save it a number of ways, but like I've already showed you, save for future sessions. Oops. Open up a new window. To jump to different windows, is that you see their number right here. You can hit space 2, space 1, space 2, space 1 to jump between those two. Oops, I closed that out. Let's jump back up. Okay, so now at space FF opens up your Finder. So you can find different files when you space FF. And our demo one is called myorg.org. And we'll open it up. And hey, look at that. Now our bold text is yellow. Isn't that fancy? And you can keep changing that and to make all those different changes you'd like to make it look more pretty. Now, let's say, now let's make, yeah. So that is going to change your entire way of doing it. So you want to do the italic one, just switch to italic, and there you go. There's your italic face. So here you can change show all attributes and change all these different ones. You can even have a background if you want to, like, you know, let's say highlight. So let's say the italic, I wanted to make this like a highlight, and I wanted to change it to where add all this. All right, to do that, you can go to background, and the background, or not foreground. So the background would be black. Well, maybe we want a different background. Let's say we want a background of, it's already whatever color it is. Let's just say we want a background dark blue. Yeah, let's go ahead and do dark blue and save that. Set for current session. And now look at our highlight text here is now, or your italic text is now has that black or this color background. I don't suggest doing that, but for the video, we'll do that. All right. Now, let's close this out. This is semi-functional at this point, but you'll notice that everything is lined up way over here, and you may want it to be a little bit centered. To do that, we have to install what's known as Olivetti mode. To install any package, double space to open up your Helm, hit package, and then your package install. So dash install will open this up, hit enter, and then you have a list of all these packages on this thingy called Melpa, which has all these packages on it. You can just download for yourself. And to download it, you just type it in. Olivetti. So download this one. When you download it, you can now use it. But here's the thing. Even though it works like this now, if you were to restart Emacs right now, or Spacemacs, it would remove it when you install it. So go back to your FED mode, your .spacemacs, scroll up to the top, and as you're scrolling down, you see this configuration layers here, but you want to scroll past that, you're going to see these additional packages. What I do is I hit open it up like that, and then I can type out my packages I want to keep. So tab that over there and type in Olivetti. Now I save this file. Now, if I were to restart Spacemacs, like I'm going to do right now, it is going to save that package. So that is a quirk. I don't think it's a quirk, but it's just probably some sort of programmer way of keeping things in order. So all the packages you install, most of the time you're going to add them in here versus otherwise. But you'll notice though now, as you, you'll notice that when you get back to this after you restart it, you're going to have to go back and load up Olivetti mode once again. And you probably don't want to do that. So here is what you do. Go back to this thing and scroll down. This is the .spacemacs where we were. So there's the new things that we've changed. And then here's some of the more things that we changed in here as well. But don't mess with those unless you really know what you're doing. But what you want to get to is the this user config section. So this is where you'll enter in your customizing things that you want to mess with. So I will add, and I normally try to comment and say what this is going to be. So this is going to be loading org mode with Olivetti hook. All right. So what you'll do then to add this is you will add this line of code, and that is going to tell you, hey, whenever you load an org file, make sure that Olivetti mode is turned on. So to show this, we will save this, restart org mode, or restart Emacs and or Spacemacs entirely. And as we do this, let me bring this back over here. And as we do this, we're back to where we were, but let's see if my org, and there we go. So this is automatically going to open up everyone this way. Now, here's one that I would suggest also adding. You'll notice that whenever I like close this, or actually the better way to show this is if you notice that with like comments and such, oops. All right, the one thing I want to add too is, so here's something funny about org mode. Whenever you delete a line, this line comes into or whenever you delete something, a lot of times it'll go into like what's called the kill area, and you can quickly paste things from your kill area. So if you, let's say I wanted to move this, I can hit DD, delete that, and paste it right there. Delete that and move it right there. So that's double D to kill it, and then P is to paste it, and you can paste that multiple times after you've killed something or in your ring there. I forget if the term is yank or whatever, but anyways, let's paste this again. So instead of, also we want not only Olivetti mode, but we will also want this other thing called visual line mode. And that is just going to make things cleaner when we type with. So you can look up exactly what that does, but that is just going to make things a little bit easier there for you. So you can customize it. Now, I have my own org file customized to my liking, and you can look up my .spacemacs file to see what things that I've done in the customizing section. But I encourage you to go back to your org customize and go back inside and look around and read around about org appearance and see the things you want to change here, and then even look at the org faces and org bullets. Go back to faces and change some of that stuff. But you can and you can change your org level things there as well. That's going to help out to change some of that. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you to figure out how to begin to make org mode look more like a Word, a text editor for simple writing without a whole lot of extra code to it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.